Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to Cisnet's CCNA class. Today is our day 1 class. So guys, why you need CCNA? So very important to know why you need CCNA. CCNA has to be the first certification to get to IT networking industry. So people come with no background. Sometimes people come with little bit background, no background to come to CCNA. So I always tell people before they go to deeper into networking or cloud, or any kind of IT certification, they best to get the CCNA knowledge because CCNA will give them fundamental networking knowledge. So our classes are online, live, interactive classes, so you can join from anywhere in US and Canada, and you can see me as well as you can ask me questions. Again, my name is Manny Pupal. I'm a double CCIE. Again, you can visit our website Cisnet.ca or call 905-281-13134 for additional details. So let's go more deeper into the course content. The course is called CCNA 200-301 CCNA Enterprise. CCNA stands for Cisco Certified Network Associate. And this certification is given by Cisco Systems. So at Cisnet, we are going to cover a couple of chapters for this course. So today we'll be covering router basics. Then every week will be one topic or two topics. Then after that, introduction to IPv4 and subnetting, TCP/IP model versus OSI model, routing, access list, NAT DHCP WAN, LAN switching, security introduction, IPv6 introduction, services, cloud computing, software defined networking. Then very close to the end of the class, you'll be given exam supporting materials and special videos. The classes will be 8 classes. So you'll be coming either weekday or weekend. So normally we have classes either Saturdays, okay? So normally Saturday class times are 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Okay, so this is on Saturday. Or we have classes on Wednesdays. This is going to be evening 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. So guys, you guys maybe coming from different time zone. Our time zone is Eastern time zone, okay, EST time zone. So adjust your time to reflect the correct time per your location, because we get people from mountain time zones, Pacific time zone, different time zones, okay. So if you're coming from different provinces, is best Saturday morning classes, but same content will be taught, and there will be 8 classes in total. So there will be 8 classes in total. So basically what we will do, you'll be getting the theory and lab, okay, theory plus lab. And for lab, we are introducing something called Cisco Packet Tracer. So Packet Tracer is from Cisco Systems, and you can do major labs by using Packet Tracer software. So we'll be using Packet Tracer software to do all the labs. All the labs are videotaped. So all the labs are videotaped, and it will be sent to the students. So that way you can watch and you can redo the lab. Then very close to the end of the class, you are going to get the exam information, exam support information, because you have to pass the exam if you want to be successfully complete your CCNA class. Then you'll be added to a WhatsApp group. So there's a big WhatsApp group we have, okay. In the WhatsApp group, what people do, whoever finished their CCNA class, they join and they ask me a question, I reply. So it's kind of an interactive group chat. So it's a very effective chat. So today our main goal is chapter 1, to get you guys going. What is a router? We are going to talk about router basics. Again, welcome to the CCNA class. So what is a router? Router is a device that forwards data packet along the network. So here understand why CCNA is important. CCNA talks about, so CCNA stands for Cisco Certified Network Associate. It talks about IP. So remember, IP addresses become very famous, and your laptop, my laptop, Google server, Yahoo server, Hotmail server, any computer need an IP address to talk, okay. So right now I'm talking to you guys in English. Same way, if a computer want to talk to another computer, it need IP address. And if you want to go to internet, your computer needs an IP address. So IP address will be taught in the chapter number 2. But now what is the router? Router, basically you can have router 1, you can have router 2, you can have router 3, you can have router 4. Maybe you are sitting here and you have to go to a server. So what you do, you will have an IP address, server will have an IP address. So you have to, router will send the packet to different places. So router 1 will send to router 2, router 2 will send to router 3, router 3 will send to router 4, then finally packet will go here. And in the entire CCNA topic, we'll be learning something called WAN. So WAN stands for Wide Area Network. Then at the end there'll be LAN. So this is called LAN. And here also I'm going to change the diagram. There's a switch actually. Okay. So this is called switch, and switch is like this in my drawing, and router is kind of I'm drawing like a circle actually. Okay, router. So switch is a LAN device, local area network, and router is a WAN device. Later in the chapter we'll be learning about static routing, we'll be learning about OSPF routing, we'll be learning about EIGRP routing. It's coming on a 4th day, guys. Okay, so we'll be learning about routing protocol. Our main task today to understand what is a router. If you get a Cisco router, how do you go and change configuration? So let's go through high level. Router is a device that forward data packet along the network. Router is connected to at least 2 networks. Okay, commonly 2 LANs or WAN. Okay. And just say in this case, this router 1 is connected to LAN and WAN. Router 2 is connected to WAN and WAN, 2 WANs. Okay. And remember, router will have IP addresses. Maybe here 10 dot something something. Maybe this link is 11.11 dot something something. So don't worry about IP addressing. It will be covered later time. Okay. So when data is sent between locations on one network to another network, data always seen and directed to the correct location by the router. So router 1 knows to go to the server, it has to go to router 2. Router 2 knows it should go to router 3. So every router will forward the packets. So remember, the forwarding is based on a table we'll be studying later. It is called routing table. So there's a command. By typing the command, you can see the routing table. It's like a map. Okay, the map will tell you how to go. So if you want to ask what is the biggest network, internet is the biggest network. It has millions of routers, computers, everything. We know, like, with this class is not possible without internet. And online our Cisnet model right now, online live interactive classes, is not possible because of due to internet actually. Because of internet, this is possible right now. Okay. So again, the idea in this chapter number 1 is to make you guys understand what is a router. Okay, so let's keep on go slowly. So when they talk about router, you have to think about router hardware and software. What you are looking here, you're looking hardware actually. You're looking kind of a back part of a router. In this diagram, you can see this is a hardware. There's something called fast Ethernet port. Okay, so there are different Ethernet port. There could be Ethernet, fast Ethernet, gigabit Ethernet. Okay, and also there are serial ports. So normally you can connect this one to a switch actually. You can connect this one to a switch. Then you can connect PCs. The main advantage of a switch is connect multiple PCs. Maybe this is router 1. Maybe you can connect this one to another router called router 2. The serial ports you can connect to another router, maybe router 3. So router 1, so this is router 1, this router, then router 2, router 3. Maybe router 2 is in Toronto, router 1 is in New York, maybe this is in British Columbia. It's possible. Okay, so remember, and these ports are called data ports because you must have IP address, maybe 10.10.10.1, maybe here it is 10.10.10.2. So you have to come up with the IP schema. Maybe this link is 11.11.11. something. Maybe this link is 15.15.15. something. So router, basically these are called data ports. So these are called what port? Data ports. We'll come back later, guys. Okay, data ports. So data port is the one carrying the traffic. Now that's not very important. When somebody give you brand new router, how to manage the router? So you have to go and type the IP address to the router. You have to go and type the name to the router. You have to do lots of things. So they are called management port. There are 3 management ports. How many management port? 3. The first one is called console port. The second one is called auxiliary port. Third port is inside the router is called VTY port. Okay, so we'll come back to this one later. So remember, very first time if you want to configure the router or if you want to change something on the router, you have to come to the console port. So there is a special cable connecting to the console port. I'm going to show you very soon. It is called rollover cable. Okay, auxiliary port. So console port, you have to directly connect it to the router. You have to be directly connected to the router. Auxiliary port, you connect to a modem. Then modem is connected to the telephone network. So PSTN stand for Public Services Telephone Network. Okay, so telephone. So originally, very first time, if you want to change anything, you come through console port. Or what do? You come through modem. Okay. A third method, you come through something called VTY mode. So what you can do, there are 2 programs to come to VTY mode. One is called Telnet, other one is called SSH. So we'll be doing Telnet labs. SSH lab, I'm going to just introduce to SSH, guys. So remember, on a router, you have data ports and you have management ports. Okay, data ports can be Ethernet, fast Ethernet, serial. Okay, management port can be console, auxiliary, and VTY. So guys, every class you are going to get something called cheat sheets. I want to introduce the cheat sheets right now. Okay, so you're going to get cheat sheets. So that way we are going to discuss very important topic. Just see, data ports, it has IP addresses. These are example of data ports: Ethernet, fast Ethernet, gigabit Ethernet, serial. The only difference is speed. Then management port, there are 3 types of management port: console port and auxiliary port. They are physical. You can see on the router. Am I right? If you go down, you can see the console port, you can see the auxiliary port. Console port, you must be directly connected. Very first time you have to use this method. You use special cable called rollover cable, and there are 2 programs, PuTTY and Secure CRT. They are very famous program. You can use those ones. And the good thing is, when I do the lab on a packet tracer window, it assumes you are on the console port. Packet tracer assumes you are on the console port. Then second method is, so this is the very first method. Okay, then after that you can use auxiliary port. You connect a modem. The very people do this one heavily. This is called working from home. So if you want to work from home remotely, you can use VTY port. We use 2 program called Telnet or SSH. So guys, what I want to do right now, I want to show you some diagrams actually. Okay, so let's see that one now. So I want to show you the cable first. Okay, so you can see the cables. So you can see this is this is a rollover cable. It's a very flat cable. Okay, it's a very flat cable. You can see very clearly here. So this is the cable used for console. One side is connected. So this side is connected to the router console port. Those days they had different console port, but nowadays you can buy USB. So you can say this is kind of a around, I can say 6 feet actually, this one. Okay, 5 feet to 6 feet you can buy. Okay, so again, flat cable is called rollover cable, is used for consoling. Then this is your example of Ethernet cables actually. Remember, if you want to connect two computers together, you use Ethernet cable. You can say this one, okay? So there are two types of Ethernet cable we are going to talk. One is called crossover cable, other one is called straight through cable. I will make sure you understand those two very well, okay? So you connect them to the router or switch or PC, anything you can connect, okay? There are coloring, guys. So if you look at the cable like this, if the colors are same left to right, it is called straight through cable. If the cables are crossed over, it's called cross through cable. So there's something called straight through cable and there's something called crossover cable, okay? So remember guys, Ethernet cables are very, very important. And very first time, if you want to configure the router, you need rollover cable. Good thing for us, we don't have to worry about any of these ones because our CCNA lab software packet tracer assumes you're on the console port. So remember, always packet tracer assumes you're on the console port. Now I want to show you guys the router also. Give me a minute. Okay, you're seeing a very small router. Okay, you can see on the here right here. I'm going to hold here. Right here you can see on the top there's console cable and auxiliary cable, these two, and there are some fast Ethernet ports. Okay, so yeah, this router has one console cable, one auxiliary cable, then right beside you can say fast Ethernet ports, then you have two more Ethernet ports. You can buy it. So this model is Cisco 1841. There are different router models from Cisco. Okay, so there's the small Cisco router. I want to show you the switch too. This is a bit heavy. Okay. Okay, this is a switch actually. You can see this one. Okay, so you can connect in this one. I can see around 24 ports. You can connect 24 PCs to this one. Okay, and again you connect. So this is a WAN device. This is the LAN device. Router is a WAN device. So router is a wide area networking device. Switch is a local area networking device. So we have covered the theory. So switching will be covered in a different day. We have one whole day for switching, and our today's class is focused on routing. So let's keep on continue, guys. Okay. So router has data ports and management ports. Let's go down further. Now, router boot sequence. Whenever you turn on a brand new router, what's going to happen? Okay, in the very first thing is going to run bootstrap program. First of all, is going to run post. Post stands for power on self-test. It makes sure everything is good. Power on self-test. Number 2 is going to load bootstrap program from ROM. Number 3 is going to load something called iOS. iOS stands for Internet Working Operating System, mostly from flash memory. Flash is nothing but internal card. If you don't have flash, it's going to load from Tftp Server or ROM. Okay, basically it's loaded in the operating system. Number 4 and 5. Okay, number 4 is going to load the configuration file mainly from NVRAM. Okay, so this configuration file is called startup config. I'm going to draw another diagram. Okay, number 5 is going to load to RAM. Okay, RAM is called running config. So I'm going to draw a good diagram for you guys to understand more. Okay, so normally there are 5 steps to the router boot up sequence: post, ROM, loading iOS, loading startup config from NVRAM to RAM. RAM has running config. So there are 2 config file, RAM and NVRAM. Okay, and remember, very first time whenever you turn on a router, there is no configuration file. So router goes to something called setup mode. Router goes to what mode? Setup mode, because very first time there is no configuration file. So what I did, I have a summary here. You have to know this one inside out. There are 5 steps to boot up process: post, power on self-test. Then bootstrap program is coming from ROM. iOS is mainly coming from Flash or Tftp or ROM. Then is going to load startup configuration from NVRAM. To running configuration, it will be in the RAM. So there are 5 steps to the boot up process. These 5 steps are defined in something called configuration register. The value is 0x2102. For the exam, you have to remember this one. So Cisco will ask you what are the steps of booting the router and how it is defined on the router. So again, remember, it is defined with a value 0x2102. It is called configuration register value. So I'm going to show you. Okay, there's a command show version is going to show you configuration register value. Again, when you start a brand new router, there is no startup config, so router goes to setup mode. Okay, so how do you know setup mode? You will be seeing something like this. Okay, system configuration dialogs. Would you like to enter the initial configuration dialog box? If you see this message, you are on a brand new router. Okay, you are on a brand new router. You type no and go inside. You must know this one for the exam. You have to know everything actually. So what is the very first mode you are going to get on a router? It is called setup dialog box. Okay guys, so we are going to play with some router configurations. Operating system to enable admin to configure router through command line interface. So this topic is very important. So normally you can do lab using Cisco packet tracer software. When in the class I'm going to explain how to go and download. You can download for free. So Cisco system, you can create a small account. It's a free account. Then you can download Cisco packet tracer software. All the CCNA lab you should be able to do on the packet tracer software. So if you come to the bottom, you can see my mouse is moving. It's called network devices. Then on the bottom router, then on the left switches, then it goes like that. So I'm on the router. These are the different models of a router. I want to select maybe 2811. If I go to the next window, I can have switches actually. So I'm not going to draw anything with the switches. These are switches. Okay. If I go here, I can drag 2 routers. Okay. I'm going to only play with 1 router right now. Okay, 2 routers. Then if you want, you can even drag PCs also. You can drag PCs, give IP address to the PC. You can do wonders. Okay, you can do wonders. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect these 2 routers. So I'm going to go with the connector button, connections. Then there are 2 cables here. I'm going to use something called not straight through cable. I want to use crossover cable. So very soon we'll talk about cabling type. Okay, go here, connecting fast Ethernet. So it tells me this router has auxiliary port, console port, fast Ethernet 00 port, fast Ethernet 01 port. I'll go to fast Ethernet 00 to fast Ethernet 00. Guys, you may have to watch this video 2-3 times to get the feel. But when you come to class, you are studying with a big environment, lots of people, so things will be easy. Okay. So I'm going to click the router. So what you will do like in real world actually. So in real world, I'll tell you this one. So very first time you are going to have a router. Okay, router will have a console port. So what you will do, you connect to this to your PC. You have to be directly in the PC. Okay, on the PC you can run 2 programs. Okay, one is called PuTTY. It's a free program, or you can use secure CRT. Then over there you click serial, change to whatever COM port, whatever communication port, maybe communication port number 1, 3, 4, 5. Then enter. You're on the router. You're going to get the setup dialog box. That's very first time. There is no IP. There is no IP. It's called what? Console port. Okay. So I want to just show you the taste of PuTTY program. So if you go and type, so you have to install the program. So I'm going to show you the example here, PuTTY. Okay. So what do you do? So there is a telnet telnet is 23, SSH is 22, but you go to serial, then is maybe COM5, whatever COM port you have. How do you know what COM port you have? You go to your computer device manager to find out. Then once you connect the cable, click open, then it pops up with the window. But for us, we are not going to do anything because we are using virtual router. Okay, what we are going to do, we are going to click the router. Okay, so its router diagram is coming. Then you go to CLI. Just see, I'm on a brand new router right now. I'm getting setup dialog box. It's asking, would you like to enter the initial configuration dialog box? So same thing, if I were use a console cable, same message I'm going to get. So that means packet tracer assumes you're on the router console port. Okay. So guys, since we are here, we are going to learn a couple of commands. My advice for you guys, also learn the same commands multiple times because you have to get your hands dirty. Okay. So I'm going to cover this one slowly. So first of all, here setup dialog box. Why you are getting this? That means there is no startup configuration. There is nothing in the startup configuration. Okay. You must type no. Enter. You are here now. You can see on the notes also, this is called user mode. Okay. Then this has level 1. If you want to see the level, you can type show privilege. So sometimes commands you have to learn. Now to go to next mode, you type enable. You're on the privilege mode. From here you type config T to go to global configuration mode. Then you can type interface fast Ethernet 00. Just see, I went to 4 modes quickly actually. So you have to know how to move around with the modes. So there's a user mode, there's a privilege mode, there's a global configuration mode, and there's an interface configuration mode. So let's go through. I'm on the basic configuration command. So let's go back. Exit. Now I came to, from console port I came to user mode. So here if I type question mark, it tells you what commands are available. Okay, what commands are available. If I go and type show question, if I type S question mark, it tells you there are 2 commands starting with S. Okay, if I type SH question mark, it tells me only command is show. At this time, if I'm lazy, I can type tab. You know, on the computer keyboard you have a tab. Tab is auto complete in the command. Then question mark, it tells you what you can type. I can type show V question mark, anything starting with V. Ooh, I have 3 commands starting with V. I have VTP, VLAN, version. Let's type version. Okay, show version. Go down. Just see, at the end you have 0x2102. That means it tells you there are, it has to go through 5 steps. Am I right? So this one tells me, just to recollect your memory, it has to go through 5 steps: post, bootstrap, iOS, startup configuration, and running configuration. Later, for password recovery, we are going to skip step number 4. That's later. Okay, that's later coming. Let's go back to the same spot. So show version will tell you more about the router, what is router is all about, and all the details. Okay, you can see, go up. So I'm going to show you that command one more time. What you can do, you can type enter. It goes 1 line at a time. If you click space bar, it's going to go page at a time. Okay, so that's a good thing. If I want to go from here to, so these are the very important 4 modes. Okay, user mode, privilege mode, global configuration mode, interface configuration mode. Let's go to the next one. Go to the next one. You type en tab, enable, enter. Good. Just see, I want to see the time. I can say show clock. This time is wrong. Let's correct it. Okay, clock set. I'm looking at the time right now. It is 6:50. Okay, clock set, then 6:50. As per me, today's time is June, so the date is 2020 June 2022. Okay, now if I type show clock, time got changed. Okay, so remember guys, I'm changing the running configuration, not startup configuration. Okay, now just see, I want to change the name of the router. To change the name of the router, I had to go to global configuration mode. To go to global configuration mode, I will type configure terminal. Okay, I will type configure terminal. I type what I did, con tab, conf tab, t tab, configure terminal. Now I can say host name, maybe Toronto. Just see, name got changed right away. Now just say I want to give a message to whoever joining the class or whoever log into the router. I can say banner MOTD. MOTD stand for message of the day. You can type a character. I can say this is Cisnet router. Then I had to put the same sign, whatever sign. So if you want to show a message to people who are logged into the router, you can type this way. Okay. So this is the message. We'll come back to this one later. Then I want to go through the notes. So this one you have to practice. So just say now I want to give an IP address to the port. Let's do that one. Okay. So from here, you type interface fast Ethernet 00. You type IP space address space 10.1.1.1 255.255.255.0. Don't worry, we will cover this one later. Remember, by default Cisco ports are admin down, so you must type no shutdown to bring up the port. Now if you want to go back to privilege mode, you type exit twice, or you can simply press Ctrl and type Z button. It goes to privilege mode directly. So you should know the shortcut sometimes. Guys, we did lots of changes. What changes we did? We changed the time, we gave a name, we gave a banner, we typed the IP address. So right now, they are all, if I type, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger here, okay? Then we can always make it slower. If I type show start, there is nothing, because there is nothing on NVRAM. But if I type show run, run stand for running configuration, start stand for startup configuration. Just see, you can see I changed the name. Okay, go down. I type the IP address. I type the banner command. Okay, that's what I did. So I did changes to the router. So the best thing is nothing but I have to copy the configuration to make sure nothing will be lost. Okay, to do that one, at any time you can type Q to exit. Okay, Q. I can say copy run to start. That's it. Now if I type show start, there is something in the startup configuration. Okay, when I reboot this router, it will not go to setup dialog box. It's going to come back to this mode. We'll do the reload after some time. Okay guys, so please follow up with this one, do the exercises multiple times. Okay, so now there are a couple of commands. There's something called copy. We did copy run to start. Sometimes you can copy from start to run. This is good. That means you want to copy from NVRAM to RAM. Run to start means you want to copy from RAM to NVRAM, NVRAM to RAM. Whenever we recover the password, we have to do this one. And also remember, in Cisco there is a server called Tftp Server. You can buy a server. You can give an IP address, put into the network, and this server function is copy the files, copy the operating system, copy the configuration file. You can keep it. Okay, and as I said, most of the time boot is from flash, but if you want, you can change it. If the iOS is corrupted, you can boot from TFTP, ROM, etc. Okay guys, so next one is passwords. But before coming to password, I want to give you some extra knowledge. Okay, so let's go through that circle right now. Okay, so on the same cheat sheets, so you're going to get these cheat sheets from me at the end of the class. Okay, so I want to talk to you about what is router inside and outside. So you can keep a picture. Okay, so router inside and outside. Okay, we'll talk about what is inside the router and what is outside the router. So normally when you come to the class, I'm going to give you this particular diagram. Every class you are going to get the special notes along with the class notes. So you are going to get the PDF class notes. On top of that one, you are going to get cheat sheets and the diagrams whatever I'm doing in the class. Okay, so let's focus on this one guys. So give me a minute, I'm going to draw something, then it's going to help you to get the knowledge of lots of things. Okay, so we talked about something called data ports. Okay, we talked about what? Data ports. And also we spoke about management port. We spoke about management ports. Data ports can be Ethernet 0, maybe fast Ethernet 0, maybe serial 0, maybe gigabit Ethernet 1, something like that. Okay, management port, you have only 3. You have to know one is called console, other one is auxiliary, other one is VTY. So there are 3 management ports. Console port has to be the very first time you log into the router. Okay, this is the very first time. Okay, you must be directly connected. Very important thing is directly connected, and you are using a cable called rollover cable. Rollover cable. Auxiliary, you are going to connect a modem. The modem is connected to your telephone network, PSTN. PSTN stands for Public Services Telephone Network. VTY, you come through data ports. You use program called Telnet or SSH. Now, what are the steps of router? So this is outside. Inside, the very first time router is do post, power on self test. Number 2, router will do bootstrap. Okay, bootstrap program. Number 3 is going to load iOS from where? Flash memory. So guys, we have to know this one inside out. Number 4 is going to load config. Okay, startup config is called startup config from NVRAM. NVRAM stands for non-volatile RAM. Is going to load to, okay, load to RAM. RAM is called running config. So you have to know all the steps. Okay, running config. If you know this one, you are good on chapter number 1 actually. Okay, so there are 5 steps to router boot up process. So let's write down the steps. One is called post. Second one is called bootstrap. So guys, always think the day 1 is always a bit difficult because you are trying to get into the router mode. Then after that, things are easy. So day 1 is always challenging because you are learning a new environment. Okay, post, bootstrap, iOS, startup config. All the passwords are here, guys. Okay, finally running config. Remember configuration register. So there is something called configuration register. The number is 0x2102. Later we are going to talk about another configuration register. I'm going to change the color now. So later we are going to say step number 1. Okay, step number 1 is post. Step number 2 is bootstrap. Step number 3 is iOS. Now is going to skip step number 4 and going to go to running config. Okay, so basically to do this one, you have to change the configuration register to 2142. Why you want to do this one? To do something called password recovery. We didn't talk about password, which we are going to talk very soon. To see the configuration register value, the command is show version. I think you guys remember when you type show version, you are going to see the configuration register value. Okay, so guys, this diagram is very critical. Whatever we studied up to now, it is summarized in the diagram. What is inside the router, what is outside the router. So this diagram is very critical. Okay guys, so now what we'll do before we go to password, I want to show you guys about the cabling types. Okay, so remember I was telling you Ethernet cable, there are two types of cable. One is called crossover cable, other one is straight through cable. My advice is take a picture of this diagram, try to take the information to your inside and try to redraw the diagram at least 2-3 times to get the feel of what are the 5 steps on a router boot up process. Okay guys, so now I want to show you about the cable. So let I go to my cheat sheets. Okay, so here router boot up process, as I told you, there are 5 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is defined with a config registered 0x2102. Okay, if you want to skip step number 4, it become 1, 2, 3, 5. Now configuration register is 2142. Okay, it's called password recovery mode. Now we are going to talk about cabling types. Okay, we are going to talk about cabling types. But before that, remember every router, okay, every PC, maybe a laptop, okay, they all have NIC card. There's a card. The card is called NIC card. NIC card can be physical card or it can be virtual card. NIC stands for network interface card. So there's a NIC card on every device. This NIC card need to be connected to maybe switch. Okay, it need to be connected to a switch, then switch is connected to the internet. Okay, so the cabling, we are talking about this cabling. The NIC card is very important because NIC card has layer 2 ID and also layer 3 ID. Layer 2 ID is called MAC addresses, we'll be learning later. Layer 3 is called IP addressing. So again guys, our next week chapter is IP addressing. The week after we'll be learning MAC addressing. We don't have to worry too much. Right now we are going to talk about cablings. Okay, so there is something called NIC devices. PC, server, router, they are called NIC devices. NIC stands for network interface card. That means it has IP addressing. There is something called non-NIC devices. That means there is no IP address. Switch is a non-NIC device. Okay. Then types of Ethernet cable. So Ethernet cable has different name. There is a RJ45, cat cable, copper cable, patch cable. They are coming in different name. Ethernet cable can be either straight through cable or can be crossover cable. Now let's see the difference between what is crossover cable and what is straight through cable. Crossover cable, inside cabling is crossed. So that's why when you look at the cable both the sides, you will know if it is crossed, you know it is a crossover cable. Where they are using to use similar devices, NIC to NIC. That means IP to IP or non-NIC to non-NIC. So that means if the devices are similar, you use crossover cable. But if the devices are different, so straight through mean inside cabling is not crossed. NIC to non-NIC, you see, NIC to non-NIC or non-NIC to NIC. Look at the first one, PC to router, NIC to NIC. So same type, I'm going to use crossover cable. Okay, PC to switch, NIC to non-NIC. Okay, so I had to use straight through cable. Okay, switch to switch, non-NIC to non-NIC. So that means same type. I had to use again what? Crossover cable. Router to switch. You have to take slowly, guys. Okay, router to switch, That means NIC to non-NIC. NIC to non-NIC, we have to use what? Straight through cable. Router to router, NIC to NIC. So that means same type. Again, you have to use crossover cable. So you have to know what situation to use. So when you go to cabling, guys, you have to say, hey, do you have a patch cable? So there are different names for Ethernet cable. Names are, sometimes it is called RJ45, catalyst, copper, or patch cable. So they are interchangeably called, hey, do you have Ethernet cable? Do you have RJ45 cable? Do you have a catalyst cable? Do you have a copper cable? Or do you have a patch cable? So very important this one to also, guys. Sometime you'll be tested in the exam, sometime you are not tested in the exam, but you should know nowadays 99% of time you are going to use Ethernet cable. There are different Ethernet types. Okay, so if I go up, I'm showing you different Ethernet. There could be normal Ethernet, fast Ethernet, gigabit Ethernet, serial. Okay, serial is not Ethernet. So Ethernet cabling type can be crossover or it could be straight through. You should know the detail, guys. Okay, so I think other ones we already put in this one. Whenever you start a brand new router goes to this mode. You type no and enter. It is called setup dialog box. This is the way you are going to see on the router. So if somebody asks you whenever you start a brand new router, what mode router is going, setup dialog box. Okay, and we spoke about couple of modes: user mode, privilege mode, global configuration mode, interface configuration mode. We didn't talk about this one yet: line configuration mode and router configuration mode. There are 6 modes of a Cisco router. Okay, guys, there are 6 modes. Modes are user mode, privilege mode, global configuration mode, interface configuration mode, line configuration mode, router configuration mode. You cannot learn everything on day one. You'll be slowly getting, so not to worry, but at least do some minimum. Whatever I'm doing in the class, please do it by yourself, so that way the day one is good for you. Now we are going to go to passwords. Okay, we are almost done with the day one very soon. So let's go back here. So what we did up to now, we type all these commands. So router configuration, then question mark, show version, enable, clock set. Then to change the name, you have to be on the global configuration mode. To type an IP address, you must be on the interface configuration mode. To set the time, you must be on the privilege mode. Okay. To type show commands, you have to be on the privilege mode. You type copy command, you have to be on the privilege mode. The very important thing people don't realize, what mode they should be in to do type different commands. Okay, so we are learning the chapter 1 right now. Okay, chapter 1. Now remember, guys, by default, if I go here, okay, I'm on the router, just see, now I'm on the console mode, enter. It did not, so it gave me this one, but it did not ask me for password. Now enable, no password, is not secure. So brand new router is not secure. So what we want to do, for console we want to give a password, for telnet let's give a password, for auxiliary let's give a password. Okay, so couple of password. By default there is no password. And remember, guys, so I'm typing on the running config. Time to time you have to save the configuration to startup configuration file with the command copy run to start. So again, the best thing is nothing but type this command regularly, so that way you are saving the configuration. Okay, so look at the nodes. To give password to console, VTY, auxiliary, I had to go to those lines. Remember, console and auxiliary, they are physical ports. VTY is a virtual port. Okay, so I had to go to config T, then line console 0. Remember, there is only one console port, that's why 0. Then you type login, then you type password syscc, exit, line VTY 0 space question mark. In the notes it says 4, but it can support up to 15 lines. That means 16 people can telnet to the router at the same time. That means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 15. 15 minus 0 plus 1 is 16, that means, okay? But we will put 0 to 4. That means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people to telnet at the same time to the router. Login, password sysvv, okay? That means VTY, exit. Then let's go to line AUX0 space. There is only one auxiliary line, okay? Then login, then password sysAA. So guys, I'm changing the running configuration right now, okay? If I want to save the configuration file to my hard disk, okay, I'll better type copy run to start. So remember, running configuration is like your RAM, startup configuration is your like hard disk, okay? Normally what they say, running configuration is in RAM, startup configuration in NVRAM. NVRAM is non-volatile RAM, is like a hard disk, okay? Okay guys, let's see what we typed, okay? Show run. Okay, I typed Toronto, that's good. Down. So guys, I don't want to press spacebar. It's going to go 14 to 18 lines at a time, but I like press enter. I typed IP address. I typed the banner. Ooh, it shows me all the passwords. Just see, it shows me console password, auxiliary password. But the problem, if anybody coming and sitting behind my back, they can see the passwords, okay? So remember, there is no security. We'll come and fix this one, okay? I want to show you something now. If I type exit, oh, it's asking password. Now it's going to be capital CC, okay? If I type enable, it's not asking for a password. Now I want to give a password to go from user mode to privilege mode. Let's see how to give. So there are two ways of giving, okay? One is you can type enable password, or you can type enable secret, or you can type both, okay? If you type both, the second one will take effect actually. So let's type both for fun, okay? Config T. So remember, this is nothing but go to privilege mode. You must know the difference. There are two methods of giving, enable password and enable secret. Remember, you must be on the configuration mode, okay? So enable password Cisco. I'm giving my second method too, enable secret Cisnet. So remember, now real password is Cisnet. Cisco has no meaning right now, because when you type both commands, when you have both enable password and enable secret password, enable secret password will override, okay? So let's see now, okay? If I type exit, is asking console password is nothing but capital sysvv. Oh, I typed something wrong. Capital CISVV. syscc actually. So you have to be very careful. Just see, if I forget, I'll be on trouble actually. Okay, syscc. Then type. I purposely did, guys. Okay, sysvv is my telnet password. Syscc is my console password. If I type enable, password is capital Cisnet actually, CISNET. Just see, I'm here right now, okay? And since I typed the password, let's type copy run to start. So now, if I type show run, I can type show start or show start is same. Let's type show run, running configuration. Just see, secret password is encrypted. That means nobody can see the password, because if somebody is behind my back, they don't know, but they know this one. If I go down all the way to the end, they are seeing my console password, auxiliary password. So this is not good. So another exam question, how do I encrypt all the passwords? So there's a magic command called, so configuration mode command, the command is service password encryption. Let's type that one, okay? Let's go here and type. So the command is on the global configuration mode, okay? So let's go to config T, sc tab, scr tab, p tab. Just is automatically completing. Enter, exit. Let's type show run and see. I'm pretty sure the passwords are encrypted now. Just see, enable password is encrypted. Some people ask me, Manny, what's the difference between 5 and 7? So remember, 7 is decryptable password. That means if you know those characters, you can get the password back. But the 5 is irreversible encryption. Even if you know whatever I typed there, you cannot guess the password. Okay. So if I go down to the end, just see they are all number 7 password. That means if I lose the password, I can try to recover the password by using those characters actually. But high level passwords are hidden right now. They are encrypted. Okay. I want to introduce one more good command, guys. You'll be using heavily. It's called show IP interface brief. It shows you basically if I move it up actually, it shows you all the ports. By default, ports are admin down. You must type no shutdown. Guys, I want to do recover the password. Okay, I will recover the password. Okay, so assume now. So we forgot the password. So you connect through the console port. Then you come to the physical mode. You go to the router. You shut down the router. Then you restart the router. Go back to CLI mode. Click. While it's loading, type Control C. So on a packet tracer window, it is Control C. On a real device, it could be Control Break. You have to check the Cisco routers book or their guide to see what's the control break sequence. Let's try to go through the step to recover the password. So I did step number 12.1. Okay. Then I have to change the configuration register. The command is a bit different. It's called conf reg 0x2142. Then I have to type RESCT. I want to reset the router. It's 12.3 now. So it's going to come to like a brand new router because I changed the configuration register. It's going to come as a brand new router. So let's give some time. It came as a brand new router. I'm going to type no, enter. Okay. So now I'm going to go to enable mode. I want to bring back my configuration. I'll type copy. Only one time we do this one. It's called start to run. You normally do copy run to start, but this time I want to bring back the config. So I'm typing copy start to run. Config is came back. Now I want to put a new console password, but because I forgot the password. Am I right? I'll type line console 0 login password Manny. Okay, exit. What I want to do now, I want to change the configuration register back to 2102. Like what I will do, config register, the command is different. On the Roman mode is conf reg, here config dash register 0x2102. Okay, exit. Now I want to save the configuration. I'll type copy run to start. This say it is not start to run to start because I want to copy all the changes to my startup configuration. If I want to see show version, it's a very thing. It's telling me right now configuration register 2142. That means skipping the startup configuration. But when I reload, it become 2102. So what you have to do? You have to do reload. It is not reset. It's a reload. Let's wait and see. So remember, guys, forgetting a password has major implication. You have to reset the router. Okay, so you have to think that one twice. You have to reset the router twice. Very first time, just see, guys, it's asking for the password. I think it's now Manny, capital MANI. I'm inside the router right now. So recovering a password on a Cisco router is kind of a very important function. You have to get practice on this one. So normally what I normally do in a class, I do a lab, guys. Okay, I do a lab. So on top of this one, I'm going to show you the lab what I do in the class actually. Okay, it is called and we have to cover some more topic too. So this is the cable. If you go to a big company, you might find the rack like this. In this diagram, you are seeing 2 switches and 3 routers. If I go down, these are the cabling I was showing you about. These are Ethernet cables. Ethernet cable can be straight through or crossover. This is the console cable, rollover cable. Originally it came up with this connector type. Here, this is RJ45 connector. I'll be sending this one for you guys. This is another console cable what I showed you at my home. Okay, it's a USB console cable. And this is another small rack, three router and 2 switches. Then this is again data center what people are working. So guys, remember we are just introduced you to Cisco routing today, and next week will be IP addressing and subnetting. If you want, we can do a small mini labs actually. So I always ask people to do a small lab. Lab is like this actually. Okay, what I will do, I will take around 20 minutes and do this lab. For you guys, it's best to know the labs and try to practice the lab at least. So my only ask will be whatever we type couple of times to get the feel. Okay, so let's read CCNA Day 1 Lab Introduction to Routers. Okay, so basically drag 2 routers from packet tracer and connect like above. So I want to connect Toronto to New York, FA00 to FA00. Hint, use crossover cable. On both routers, configure hostname to Toronto 1 and New York 1 respectively. So let's go and type the name. Add IP address as per diagram and enable. That means 10.10.10.1, 10.10.10.2. Okay, so let's do that one. Then let's do this lab. Then slowly, let's go to the packet tracer software. I'm going to erase everything. So highlighting this one and clicking delete. Do you want to delete? Yes. Okay. Now click back. Go to the routers. I'm going to drag 2 routers. Okay. One router, second router. So let's connect. Because NIC to NIC, I had to use crossover cable. Am I right? So I'm going to use the 4th one. It's called copper crossover. Let's connect fast Ethernet 00 to fast Ethernet 00. Okay. So what I will do, I'll click this one, bring it here. Okay, that's my first router. So let's go to CLI, go to the second router and bring it this side. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to do parallelly both, so that way you can see what I'm doing actually. Okay, so I'll bring like this, I'll bring like this, bring it down, other one also bring it down. Okay, so we have on both the routers. Let's take the questions actually. Okay, so we have the questions. Okay, so what I will do, I will do step number 2 and 3. Okay, no, I'm on the setup dialog box. Okay, enable config T hostname Toronto 1. Okay, on the other router, I'm on the setup dialog box. I'll type no. If you cannot click the router and type no. Enable config T hostname New York 1. So I type the name. Then I want to put the IP addressing. Okay, so if you forget the IP addressing, what you can do, you can type this command, show IP interface brief. It shows you the port. It is fast Ethernet 00. I go back to config T, then interface fast Ethernet 00. Router understand when you type FA, you are typing fast Ethernet. Then IP address 10.10.10.1. So we'll be learning about this one later. Right now, just type 10.10.10.1 on this router. Then you must type no shut. Okay. On the other router is going to be 10.10.10.2. So interface FA00 IP address 10.10.10.2 255.255.255.0 no shut. Okay, exit. Here also come to the first router. I'm assuming I'm on the console port on both the router. The number 4. So guys, I'll be doing, maybe it look like faster, but watch it again. Number 4, I'm telling from Toronto router do this command. Okay, so I'm going to do from Toronto router, I will do ping 10.10.10.2. I'm trying to reach New York router. So ping is using ICMP protocol. Just see it's successful. If I do one more time, up arrow, enter, I can ping. So that means from Toronto I can reach New York router. So the command is using ICMP protocol. Next one, it says on both the routers change the telnet password to Cisco, console password to Cisco, but it tells only one person to telnet. That means I'm going to type line VTY0 only. Okay. Then number 7 says to go from user mode to privilege mode, type the strongest password. So we know that there are two passwords. One is enable password, other one is enable secret. I'll be using enable secret. Okay. So I'm going to do 5, 6, 7 together right now. Okay. Let's do Toronto 1. Config T, line console 0, login, password C Cisco, exit. Okay. Line VTY0, login, password T Cisco. Once you do the lab 3-4 times, you'll be getting used to it. Okay. Exit, and I can say enable secret expert. So those are the three things asked for number 5, 6, 7. Let's do here too. Okay. Config T, line console 0, login, password C Cisco, exit, line VTY0, login, password T Cisco, exit. Okay, then I can say enable secret expert. It says strongest password. Am I right? So same command I type on both. Now it's asking me to type two commands, show run and show IP interface brief. Let's type here. Turn the cap locks off. Show IP interface brief. Perfect. Then show run. You see enable secret is encrypted. Down, 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 down. So I'm typing enter. Okay. There's IP address. But people can see the password because passwords are not encrypted. Number 9, I'm telling encrypt the passwords. Okay. How do I do that one? So you should know right now or memorize slowly. It's called service password encryption. It's a configuration mode command. Okay. Let's type on both the router. Service password encryption. If I type show run, right now it's encrypted actually. Okay. If I type show run, it is encrypted. If I go all the way to down, it's all encrypted. Okay. So guys, I did all the way to 9. Now I'm going to telnet. So I'm going to do number 4 one more time. Okay. So remember telnet and ping, I had to be on the privilege mode. Just see. So I cannot do from the configuration mode. I had to type exit. Okay. Now ping one more time. 10.10.10.2. Now I'm going to number 10. It's called telnet 10.10.10.2. So when I do telnet, I'm going to go to VTY mode of New York router. It's going to ask me for password of New York router. It is T Cisco. Okay. Enter. Password is T capital Cisco. Enable expert. Just see guys, from Toronto router I jump to New York router. This become your working from home. Everybody work remotely, so you can engineers, you can work from home, you can control your computers remotely. So that's why we do. So there are two programs for remotely configure Cisco routers. One is telnet, other one is SSH. SSH is very secure. Okay. So let's go back. Go back, you type exit. Okay. So now what we can do, we save the configuration. Copy, run to start. So remember this is the command to save the config. So guys, day 1 is lots of commands, Cisco router, what's the basic, but from day 2 things will be interesting. You'll be learning IP addressing and subnetting. Copy, run to start. Now I'm going to do password recovery one more time, assuming I lost the passwords. Okay, so that's a good experience for us. Okay, so it says assume you forget the console password Toronto 1 router and recover using many as a password. So there is a small thing I'm going to tell you. Go to physical because I lost the password. Okay, go to shut down the router, no shut the router, go back to CLI, type Control C. Okay, so let's use the steps here to do this one. Then I'm going to do conf reg 0x2142. Then I'm going to type reset. I'm going to follow the steps. Okay, so guys, all the nodes, everything will be given in the class. Okay, so when you join the class, you'll be given. If you have interest in doing CCNA, please call us or register. So I'm going to set up dialog box right now because it skipped the startup configuration. I'm going to type no, enable. Very first time I'm going to do 12.6. I'm going to say copy start to run. Okay, configuration is bad. I want to put a new password. I'll say line console 0 login password many. Okay, now exit. Now I want to change the configuration register. Config register 0x2102, that's a normal one. Then exit. I'll type copy run to start. Now I'm going to see my configuration register, so show version. It should tell me right now I'm on 2142. When I reload, it becomes 2102. If I'm happy, I'm going to reload. Guys, very important thing is whenever you do password recovery, packet tracer router goes to admin down mode. So you have to go back to the port and type no shutdown. I'm going to show you. Okay, I'm going to show you. So password is many right now. Am I right? MANI. Enable, I think sys BB. Sorry. MMM expert actually. MMMEXPERT. If you forget, it's going to be hard. Okay. So if I type show IP interface brief, just see the port went to admin down mode. So you have to go to interface FA00 and type no shutdown. So whenever you do the password recovery, remember you go to the ports, whatever ports admin down, you have to do no shutdown. So how do I know if everything is good? I should be able to ping my neighbor. It is 10.10.10.2. Let's wait. Yeah, it's working right now. Guys, again, good luck in your journey. If you want to be successful, you have to do lab multiple times. Our next week topics, we are going to cover lots of good things actually. Okay, next week will be IP addressing and subnetting. So we'll go through what to be covered in next week. So next week is one of the very important chapter, guys. So remember, when you come to the CCNA class, so today is kind of a demo for day one. We'll be covering day one more time in detail. Then after that, day two will be IP addressing and subnetting. So all the labs, whatever I do, you're going to get the video tape. Okay, so you can always watch it and redo the lab. And good luck in your journey. So people can think about CCNA, CCNP, AWS cloud, Python programming, etc. Good luck, guys. Okay, bye.